Good afternoon. From the KUOW newsroom, this is Seattle Now. I'm Paige Browning with a roundup of today's top stories. It's Wednesday, April 15th. Starting with a win this week for Seattle's mayor. The city council is moving forward with Mayor Katie Wilson's proposals on homelessness, her first big priorities. Scott Greenstone's following for us.
Wilson wants to open larger tiny house villages and fast. She promised 500 shelter beds before the World Cup in 2 months. On Tuesday, the city council approved legislation to use almost $5 million that the mayor found in unspent corners of the budget for shelter, as well as let the city move faster to sign leases for larger plots of land for tiny house villages. On Wednesday, the Land Use Committee will take up a proposal from Wilson to raise the max capacity for tiny house villages from 100 to 150 or even 250 people in some cases. Scott Greenstone, KUOW News.
The other big city story this week is the library. We had a small note yesterday, but we got more details today. The Seattle City Council gave the go-ahead to put a tax levy for the library on the August ballot. Anna Boyko-Wyrock reports.
Seattle property taxes already fund our libraries, but the new proposal would more than double that money, up to $480 million. And libraries could add more books and ebooks, upgrade their internet, and retrofit buildings. Councilmember Rob Saka says he's excited.
I geek out about our ability as a city to help put hammers in hands and reimagine these historic spaces.
The bill for a homeowner would depend on the value of their house. Councilmember Maritza Rivera says property owners already have a long bill.
Maybe it doesn't sound like a lot, but combined with all the other taxes, it starts to add up.
It would cost $160 a year for the median Seattle home, and median is nearly $900,000. Anna Boyko-Wyrock, KUOW News.
An audit just came out grabbing our attention. Most police officers in Washington have not completed their legally required cultural awareness and anti-bias training. A new state audit finds that only 14% of new officers have completed their 40 hours of required community training. Only 16% of veteran officers have done the full training, but they face a later 2028 deadline. Under Initiative 940, the state mandates police training on implicit bias, working with American Muslims, and alternatives to physical force. Police officials told state auditors they struggle to get officers trained because of the cost and the time commitment. Pivoting to a flurry of news in the courts, Live Nation is a monopoly. That is the stinging decision that came today from a federal jury in New York. Washington and more than 30 other states sued 2 years ago, lobbing monopoly claims at Ticketmaster's parent company. Today, State Attorney General Nick Brown called it a landmark verdict. The New York Times reports the verdict could result in Ticketmaster and Live Nation being broken up. Washington State argued that Live Nation locked venues into long-term contracts to keep competitors out. Live Nation has argued it's not a monopoly, but rather a fierce competitor. University of Washington lawyers are facing off against an unusual adversary in a racial discrimination case, artificial intelligence. Monica Nicholsberg explains what's going on.
When Nan Zheng's son was rejected from nearly all of the colleges he applied to, something seemed off. His son had a 4.4 GPA and nearly perfect SAT scores. Instead of college, he took a job as an AI engineer at Google. Zheng suspected universities rejected his son based on race, but he couldn't find a lawyer to take the case.
Some law firms are worried that the universities are too deep-pocketed, who are worried the courts in California and Washington are going to be too biased. Some lawyers backed out, saying that they're worried about death threats.
So Zheng is using tools like ChatGPT and Gemini as his attorneys.
I think AI is already on par, if not better, than the top lawyers in the nation.
UW said it stands by its admissions process in a statement. In a court filing, UW attributes Zheng's rejection to his out-of-state status, not his race. Monica Nicholsberg, KUOW News.
Another lawsuit of note, big drug makers really don't like a new Washington law. The Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, a trade group, is suing the state over a law requiring drug discounts. It was just put in place and requires drug makers to give discounts to more hospitals and clinics that serve rural and low-income patients. The Seattle Times reports the trade group claims hospitals have been pocketing the savings. President Trump's making an endorsement in a local Washington race. He's backing Republican State Senator John Braun in his new run for Congress. Braun, the current state Senate minority leader, is running to unseat Democratic Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez in Southwest Washington. Gluesenkamp-Perez flipped the 3rd Congressional District blue in 2022 and got reelected in 2024, but Republicans are hoping to win that seat back and help them maintain power in the U.S. House. An arts nonprofit in Seattle is converting a 116-year-old building into space for artists to live and work. Basecamp Studios bought the 8-story Gibraltar Tower on 3rd Avenue for nearly $3 million. More from KNKX Arts and Culture reporter Freddie Monarez.
When construction is complete, Basecamp Studios says there will be up to 16 affordable units in the building for sale. They'll go for up to 80% of the area median income, which the city says is $88,000. Nick Ferderer is the nonprofit's founder.
Let's say it's one of the 2 bedrooms. We hope it's right around 900 square feet with a balcony. And then you can walk out your doorway to the hallway, take 2 steps, and then hang a left into your working studio, which is about 500 square feet.
The project is taking advantage of a new ordinance that offers tax deferrals because it's converting a portion of an empty office building into affordable housing. In Seattle, I'm Freddie Monarez.
And finally today, local soccer fans can claim a new record. Last night was Seattle's largest ever crowd for a women's sporting event. The U.S. Soccer Federation says more than 36,000 people filled Lumen Field for the U.S. women's national team friendly match against Japan. The players also got to test out the new grass on the field put in place for the men's FIFA World Cup. Next time on Seattle Now, we head to Soto to see how some businesses are getting ready for the FIFA Men's World Cup, like the custom sign shop Western Neon.
I don't think you'll ever be prepared, but we're going to do our darndest. And part of that is how can we contribute to the overall experience of all sorts of diverse backgrounds of people coming into our city, and how do we show all of our guests what this city's really about?
Hear more Thursday morning. That's all for today from the KUOW newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Andy Hurst, and I'm Paige Browning. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. See you later.